Hey guys, welcome back to the exciting episode of Yomo. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast, and today, reflection 355.
The book is Flow, the
Oh,
psychology of human performance by
something we really need right
Mihaly.
now.
He died recently.
Oh, really?
I always forget how to pronounce. It's like
Mihaly? Mihaly?
Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I think something like that. Like this guy
Chikden
is
Mihaly.
this
We are
dude is
butchering his name.
he just passed away, I think maybe like in the past couple of years, actually. This guy is probably as legendary of a psychologist slash, you know, like a Daniel Kahneman almost. For what his field is, he is the source code, the source material that a lot of people refer back to him
Reference.
when people bring that up constantly in other books. It's always about it goes back to that kind of book. This book and this concept from this psychologist is really where a lot of this stuff comes from. He was like the world-renowned expert on flow state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't, I mean, you know what flow state is, but I guess for anybody that's listening to this, flow state is, I guess in my own words, I'll say it's that feeling of, that experience where you get kind of into the zone when you're doing a skill or an activity that is engaging to you, that is a beaver must dam activity, right? That is something that you love to do, that you have the skills to do it, and that you are doing it at a level that is challenging, but not like super duper challenging where you're like, I just can't get it. If you're trying to play the piano or something like that and you're just not good at it and you don't know how to do a certain technique or whatever, and you're just screwing up, or they'll relate it to tennis, right? If I'm trying to hit a slice backhand drop shot while on a run or whatever, I don't have the skill sets for it. So I don't get into that flow state. I need to spend a whole lot of hours training my elephant to build
Mm-hmm.
up that skill in order for that to be able to function in a flow state where it's just on automatic almost, right? Where my elephant just like knows what it's doing, right? Hitting a forehand on the run, like that's flow state for me, right? I could do that 150 times in a row, and probably, hit 140 of them in or something like that, right? Like flow state to me is when you're doing an activity that is a beaver must dam activity of something you love, with people you love to do it, within the environments you love to do it in, and it meets your skill level just a little bit challenging, right? Where you're pushing
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You don't want it to be too easy because too easy is boring. But like, too hard is too frustrating where you can't, let your elephant be your elephant. This is like elephant be your elephant zone. I don't know. Do you have a different definition? How do you define flow state?
Well, I define flow state because, like you say, it has so many variables and it's very dynamic. What I define flow state is that when you're doing something that you are engaged in it so much that you're undistracted. An example could be I'm playing a Madden game, like a video control Madden, right? I'm in it. My wife would be calling me from the kitchen. I would not hear her. My
Right.
kid would be crying. I would not hear. The dog would be like doing whatever. I would not hear. If the train come by, I would not hear because I'm so engaged in the activity, like playing.
Yes.
And that comes from the ability for you to be really focused on something. You need some skills, but at the same time, it's not too challenging that you frustrate. It's not too easy
Easy to
that
get
you
it
get
warm. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's boring, but you get to the flow state is essentially you are surrounded yourself in only a singular activity, whatever that is. You can play games, you can play poker, you can do whatever, and you completely ignore everything else, and you so engage in that particular activity. That is a flow state. However, you get there, like you describing a definition of what a flow state can get you into, but a flow state and an experience is that of a experience where you are doing something like I say, the reason why I'm saying games is most people can relate to games is when they go into this the role playing game, the massive multiplayer role playing game. You go
Right.
in there and you fighting the boss,
Yeah.
whatever.
You're like
You
immersed.
you 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 immerse yourself into that thing, and you are not easily distracted. Right. The only way to get me out of it, I mean, you have to go
right.
physically smack me over the
Right. Yeah.
face and say,
Right.
"Hey." And usually my wife does that sometimes, and we smack. Say, hey, I call you like 10 times, but didn't answer. I didn't hear you. What do you mean you didn't hear me? I
I,
yelled
I,
at you,
I,
and everybody was looking around, and everybody like they put their hands on their hips and they say, "What the fuck are you trying to do?"
right.
That is a flow state. So if
That's
you can
exactly
get
what it
into
is.
that, regardless what you do, I don't care what it is. It could be swimming, it could be tennis, could be chess, it could be a video game. Like I say, I'm very immersed into the football game, Madden game, Madden, NFL, whatever. Right?
Right.
Those are my games, and when I'm in it, when I'm playing a game, And especially I'm in a 2-minute warning,
Right.
that's when I'm trying to win and I'm behind, right? I am undistracted.
Yes.
I cannot be distracted, right?
Right. I think you just nailed it. That's exactly what flow state is. I think the value of state is it's like a magical experience.
It's like some kind of a chemical that is released. It makes you feel so good.
It does. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's like magic. I mean,
when you get out of it, you're like, that was intense, but
that was awesome.
It was awesome, right? It's like so
yes.
try to get into that, and then you can backtrack and figure out how you get into that flow state.
Right.
Is before you can identify it and to get into it, then you can say, well, backtrack. What kind of thing they need to do? What kind of variable I need to tweak, and what value I need to what lever I need to push for me to get into that flow state. And flow state to me, that's what you're looking for. And imagine if you can get into that flow state almost like on a regular basis, your life as you remember your experience will have a very, very positive aspect, a positive outlook on life, and your life is going to be good, right? And to me, like I say, life is meant to enjoy, because whether or not you have money or you don't have money, you can still enjoy. But if you have $1 billion but you're miserable, money isn't going to give you the joy. That is the flow state that gives you joy.
It is 100%. And it's also perfectly in line with the reflection that I wrote, because I agree with you 100% on this. I think this is a great time to revisit a quote that I say often, which is, monotony collapses time, novelty unfolds it. When you're in a flow state, it's always a novel experience. That's one of the things I think that needs to be about, it's a new experience, but an old experience at the same time. Like when I'm playing tennis, it's a new, like when you're playing Madden, it's a new 2-minute warning, but it's a game that you know very, very well, and you know how to go figure out how to do it, right? But it's a new experience. When I'm playing, like, how many times in the summer when I'm out playing pickleball and I'm like, oh fuck, like, I gotta text Drew and like let him know, because I'm gonna miss our I'm gonna be late to our call or something like that. And it's not because it's intentional; it's because I'm that engaged in an activity.
Because the other activity, the other part of your brain isn't registering.
I'm in another world. Like literally, you're in another, existence,
flow
right?
state.
Like, and time feels like 3 hours feels like 20 minutes, or 5 minutes. Like it just compresses time so much because of flow state is that great mixture of novelty meets familiarity. It's just a beautiful experience, right? So this is what this reflection's about, is the magic of flow, right? So this all goes back to, I'll spoil the whole reflection of, this is what living for two is for me, right? This is what I figured out on this journey of the Your Magical Learning journey, is how important flow is to my life, not only because of all the things that you and I are describing, but for me, it's when you fully get to bring all your values to life. And then that's when I know that I'm living the life that I'm supposed to live and doing the stuff that I'm supposed to do. And that's when I feel most connected to my daughter that's no longer here. And I know that I'm honoring my promise that I made to her. And I know that I'm able to connect with her again, because I'm being the best human that I can be, right? And I'm experiencing all the great things that it is to experience in humanity. And I think that's what flow state is like when you get to do things that you love to do, that truly are fulfilling and rewarding for you, and you get to experience all the great things about being a human, and time just kind of almost stands still. And
that's the reason why when you play poker, you go home at 7 a.m. because you think, well, you sit there from morning until the next morning. That's 24 hours. That's
taking an 8-hour flight.
I have, yeah.
How far is the flight from Vietnam to US?
By distance and by actual time,
right? So how torturous is that 13 to 14-hour flight?
Very, very, very long.
Right. Now, if I asked you to go code for 14 hours, how torturous is that?
It's like, I don't have enough time. Need more time.
Exactly.
This is what I'm saying is, back in the day when I was programming stuff, I would have stacks of Red Bull and 5-hour energy in my corner. I'm talking about and you know how they put those cases, like cases and cases? I would have the cases stacked almost to my ceiling. And that's a lot of Red Bull. And I do that because I sit there probably like a day and a half, night into the next night, until I couldn't take it anymore. So I had to go sleep.
You just said, I can't do
it. You do. Whenever you go to bed, you completely knocked out. But that's what I'm saying is, when you are in that zone, time is essentially being compressed. And then outside of that, it's been a long, long, long time, right? It's like you say, it's like 24 hours or 30 hours. And it seems like hey, I still need to finish. There's certain features I still not complete. There's certain thing I need to wrap up. There's certain thing I need to refactor and clean it up, make it look more polished, blah blah, right? It's just like, hey, there's more things, and you don't watch the clock, and you think, hey, why the actual time is so long? I only spend like 2 minutes typing, and certainly I look it up, it's 2 hours. Versus on the other side, when you have something that is boring, right? 1 minute seems like an eternity.
It seems forever. Whenever like the pickleball sessions in the summertime, when I would like completely just, I'd be down there for 3-4 hours and completely space out. You and I were having this conversation that we meet every single night, and we've done this for years and years, and I would completely forget. And this is ingrained into me. This is a habit at this point in time. If you ask me, that's about the equivalent distance of a time when it takes to drive from Indianapolis to Chicago. Like I want to blow my brains out every time that I have to drive. I used to get panic attacks. No joke. I used to be like, oh my God, I got to drive on 65. My eyes would start to fall asleep.
Dreaded driving for more than 2 hours.
It's a fight. It's just a pure fight. Like, I mean, and like flow is the opposite of a fight. It is like the easiest thing in the world. Like, I don't feel pain. I'm running around. I'm doing hard things, but I don't feel pain. My back doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
And this is what I'm saying is when you play the games, right? The thing is, back in my younger days in college, I would play games. Like, for example, the Diablo game. I beat that game in about 5 days, right? The whole game in about 5 days. But I sit there from morning to night. Morning to night, I sleep very little. And the thing is, you don't feel hungry. You don't feel thirsty. I mean, it's like I can go sit there for a long time without going to the restroom. I was holding that. So all the bodily pain you have, it doesn't register. All of your like, hey, I know that I have to do this and do that. You completely forget it. It never registers. That alarm never comes up in your head. That is what a flow state means. Whenever you get to it, it's basically you are just inside of that bubble.
It's like a portal. It's like a portal to a different universe. Because you know how you were just saying something that was really interesting about hunger, right? Like, you've talked to me about this a lot because you do a lot of fasting, right? And you're like, look, I mean, hunger is really just a mental thing, right? And what you just said was the truth. I mean, like I could.
You want to fast? You get into a flow state. You fast. It's been 3 days. I haven't eaten anything. Shit.
It reminds me of that book, The Fifth Vital by what's that? Mike Matchlick or whatever, the guy, the YouTuber, the guy that does stuff with Logan Paul or whatever. The reflection that I wrote for that one was always because he was an addict, right? He was like a hardcore opioid addict, right? And one of his lessons that he learned that I took from his book and his life experience was always stay busy, but busy with the right stuff, because he was busy being a drug addict, and like that consumed every bit of his waking moment memory and everything that did, and I mean, you look at drug addicts, they get so skinny too because that's all they do, that's all they can think about, it's all they're in a flow state all day long. So if you're always staying busy but busy with the right shit, and then like
right,
time will just melt away.
You remember the days when you were playing poker? How much did you eat?
I never ate.
My point is, you don't remember that you're hungry. You don't feel you're hungry.
Actually, if anything, it was the worst thing ever to stop to go eat, because I was like, I'm not.
Yes, want to, because you're disrupting the flow state.
There's people all the time that say like, "Oh, I forgot to eat today," and I'm like, "How do you forget to eat?"
I mean,
that's exactly what this is. Like, I mean, and like right now, I've been so busy with all the stuff going on with the pickleball build out. Like, I actually have been forcing myself to eat my normal like breakfast, lunch. I'm not hungry. Like, I'm like, oh, I got like 500 things to do and I got to go do this, I got to go do that. Like, I'm kind of in a flow state the opposite way. This is like there is a bad flow state too, right? Of going uphill. You could be in an uphill flow state. That's what
I'm saying is, you have to define what a flow state for you is, and you have to kind of experience, because the flow state that we want to bring forth is a flow state of positivity. You want that, and not only that, you want that because you yearn for it. Like, it's like an addiction, but it's a healthy addiction, right?
But
because
you're
addicting to something that's good for you, but it's not like going to hinder your health and make you become
my fucking chest for like the past 2 weeks. I mean, I can feel it every goddamn day.
You get anxiety, you get a headache, you don't eat regularly. And those are the negative flow state. Like, you play poker, right? That's why there's professional poker. Because these guys, they know, hey, I only play these number of hands and these number of hours, and they just get up and they walk out and they can say, I'm done.
Right.
They are professional, but if you get to the point where they do what the body tells them to do at that point, that flow state is affecting you negatively. And so in most cases, when we mention flow state, these are the things that we need to also to kind of make a distinction, because the flow state is supposed to be something positive.
Running downhill.
This is what we mean, not the other stuff. So there is a modification of quote unquote, can it be more flow state? So when we say, hey, he's in a flow state, we are saying he's in a good place, not in a bad place.
It's running downhill versus running uphill, right? Like when downhill flow state is exactly where you want to be. Uphill flow state is that's actually really bad.
I mean, for me, it's for some reason I have this addictions to football. Whatever reason, I'm just like so mesmerized by it. I'm in it, and especially when I'm playing a man game, and I get to the point where it's like you say, it requires some skills, but it's not impossible. Because if I were to win by 10 points, 50 points, 100 points, right? The 2 minutes doesn't mean anything. But if I'm behind by 7 points or 6 points or 3 points, and I have 2 minutes to be on offense and get the ball to the end zone and win the game, that is where you're in a flow state. You are completely engaged in it. It's hard for anyone to distract you. It's very, very hard. And so that is what a flow state is. But it's only 2 minutes, right? So you get in flow state for 2 minutes and you get out. It's not a flow state where you're in it forever and you can't get out of it.
Right.
So there is a flow state where that's why drug addicts, they get to the point where they go into a flow state and they continue to go there and they go there. And the moment they get out, they want to get back in. And so whenever you do that, what happens is it's unhealthy because your body doesn't get the nourishment it needs, and everything else gets a domino effect from down. It's just a compound effect on your downward. Yeah. And I think, that's what I'm saying is, flow state does have negativity, but anyone who's mentioned a flow state is a positive thing. Anybody who's mentioned a flow state as a negative thing, they call it an addiction.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think that's exactly what you said, because we only ever, it's funny you say that, because the word addiction immediately means negativity. The word flow state immediately positivity, right? So you are right. That's the end of the other polarity of both sides. Hey, don't try to tell me a drug addict is not in a flow state, like, because they are all consumed.
Somebody say something?
They are. That's the only focus they have. That's the only thing that they care about, and that's the only thing that they're worried about. Most of the entire time of the entire day, right? So I think that's a really good point. Like, this is fragile, anti-fragile, right? Flow state, addiction, right? I mean, it's the polarity, right? We talked. God, man, all these lessons just keep bubbling back up. Because you remember the Kabbalion. This is like the third reflection. Like, we're on 355. Like, book number 3 was the Kabbalion that we did, and like that was one of the things that I remember learning from that one that I wrote a reflection about. Is life has polarity and always will swing from one end to the other. So it's your kind of job to try to keep it, not. You don't be in the swings, right? Like try to control where you're at, like control your flow state, because they can get out of control. Like, I can play pickleball for 6 hours, and like the next day I'm not.
Yeah, and your wife will divorce you.
My wife will divorce me. Next day, my body's gonna hurt like crazy. I'm gonna miss having conversations like this with True. I'm gonna miss the balance, right? So I think that's another important point of all the flow conversation, right? But I think the most important thing for me, and this is the biggest lesson. This is the biggest lesson that I've learned on the year of magical learning from, like, for me, like not of this whole journey, but for me. Mm-hmm. When I am in the flow state, that's when I get to connect with my daughter. That's what I've discovered. And that is only because of all the things that Amelia got me to just start to move after she passed away. Her energy, her spirit, her whatever, whatever it was, how strong her courage, right, got me to say, what would Amelia do? And that's just take another step and fight, And as I fought, that's what I learned along the way. I was like, oh, okay, great. I'm fighting. The stuff that I'm doing to fight, I like it. And then I've discovered I really like this, for XYZ reasons. And not only that, then I started to figure out, oh, I get to find Amelia again when I do these things as well. And then it became an addiction to me, where it was like, I can't stop doing this stuff now because I can't not have her in my life anymore. And this is my only way to maintain that in my life. If you ever want to know my life, I guess, and ever understand why almost everything that I do, it's because of flow state, because I get to connect with my daughter. And like, that's everything to me, you know? So like, flow state is magical. I hope that everybody finds in their life.
And people will, because that's what I'm saying is a beaver must dam, right? When a beaver is building dam, he in a flow state. I mean, he's like,
Right.
well, I don't care what happens. I don't care. I mean, I'm completely in my world.
Right.
So same thing is a lot of people, you are built a certain way by the patterns of your DNA, by your genes that you're given. You are a unique individual that will have a unique, I guess, alignment with something, right? That's like for somebody like me, I don't know why I like football so much. I mean, I watch football like I can't get enough, right? I watch it Monday, Thursday night football. You get Thursday night, you get Sunday, right? You get like Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday. They don't have Tuesday. You had the instant replay and all that. Watch it over and over again, and you analyze it. You are in it. It's like you are like. This is why people say, you know, you eat, sleep, and whatever football. Life is football. Everything is football, and especially in Texas, right? To me, for some reason, I have that bug. Okay, I do have that bug. It's and especially when I'm in it, it's like when I play man, right? My wife gets so pissed off at me because I would be playing like I would go home like early 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would play until like 6 o'clock in the morning, and she's sleeping and say, "What the hell are you doing?" It's like, no, I just need to finish something. But that's the thing is
hilarious.
Thinking about that is like I am addicted to that thing for whatever reason. It's why am I addicted to basketball? Why am I addicted to tennis? Why am I not addicted to like whatever other thing? Right? I'm just addicted to football, like
I don't know.
Professional football in general, right?
I mean, that's the point.
I try to stay away from college and stay away from the high school one because if that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You have no time to do anything else. But that's the thing is, because like in addition to the games you watch during the season, and then you have these games that Coach Man made. It's famous, right? They have Man, and even have Man Bowl now, where you can compete playing video games in Man to win. Nice. But for whatever reason, like all year long, it's football, everything for me. And that to me is, like I say, you're not addicted to football. You're addicted to tennis or to pickleball, right? I'm addicted to something else because you are who you are. I am who I am. That means that for every single one of us, there's something out there that will align with you and will get you to the flow state. You just have to understand who you are, figure out that first, then find the thing that aligns with you as that
and then run downhill.
And you will get flow state. So to me, it's like it's a must.
It is an essential human experience. This is something that I think is unique to us. Well, no, I don't think that's true actually, because beavers, I think, probably in their own little flow state. I think it's something that actually, if anything, now that I just said that, I think it's actually oddly we have to find flow state. I think other animals just are in a flow state almost all the time, right?
Right. The reason why I agree with that is because we are the only one with the forebrain, which is the rider.
We can get distracted.
That basically changes directions and get distracted. The beaver, like, it has only the subconscious brain, which is like, hey, I'm on autopilot. And they go and figure it out. This is the reason why I can give you 10 things to do. Hey, Chris, call me, blah, 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 right? You say, yeah. Your forebrain, your system too is understanding, but your elephant doesn't. When your elephant is doing something, it doesn't let go of the control back to the rider to say, oh, I got a meeting with True. This is why when you're in a flow state, your subconscious is actually doing the work.
It shuts off.
It shuts off the control from the rider. Most animals, they don't have the forebrain, the rider on top. Therefore, it cannot be distracted for the most part. Automatically, hey, I need to go there. I feel like I need to be there. And it drives them automatically. For us, we have two brains. They will give control back and forth to them. But when you're in a flow state, right, the rider can't just tap on elephants, hey, give me back the control, give me back the rein, I'm going to pull you a different direction. They won't let you do it.
Do you remember the artist's journey when he talked about like the ticket to Eden? We talked about, like I think flow state is the ticket to Eden. Like it's perfect. It's exactly what you were just talking about. Animals get to be in Eden all the time, because this is what they do and this is how they are. They don't have to worry. Like our dumbasses are blessed with the ability to explore out of Eden for dumb whatever reasons, and then we come back, and then we could, but we
I
could
mean,
figure out how to
everything
get
has
back,
its pros and cons, right? Because I say, you give a gun to an individual, right? I mean, it could be bad, it could be good. You give a forebrain to an individual, it could be bad or good. It's just like everything has a pros and has a con because have a dark side and a positive side. So that's the thing is you have to take both. You can't just take one and not have another. That doesn't work in real life. So when you have this power, right? I give you a gun, right? That's power. There's also, it's a liability.
Be stupid,
right?
You could definitely be a dipshit with it,
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of people, right? They have this power, this forebrain, this extra brain that sits on top of the gigantic subconscious brain, system one, and they do all stupid shit, right? And they make their life miserable. But if they just shut off, if they shut off their forebrain, right, they're probably gonna have an easier life because your automatic system runs everything. This is why last time you say ignorance is bliss, right? Sometimes because you don't have to give it to the writer, the system, the forebrain to think about all this shit, and then say, hey, life is like, hey, I don't have to worry about stuff.
Right.
But then your forebrain starts taking over, and then you worry about all stuff. Like you say, hey, who put a gun to your head and make you run a marathon?
No one. I mean, this is what we chose, right?
You put on the intentional gun to your head, and you say, hey, you shall make this a marathon, and you shall ride 365 reflections and blah blah blah. And you get to the point that shit, I can't take this anymore. This is too much.
Agreed. Well, I have to say, I always find a great flow state usually when we have conversations, which is why I think you and I both love to do this. Sadly, I have to get out of this flow state because I have a phone call that I need to make back to somebody else that's going on right now. That's the negative flow state that's pulling me out of it, right? So I have to put a pin on this one tonight because I have something I got to go do right now. But sadly, this is always a good positive flow state that going downhill. And I've always I think the most important thing about this conversation every night for me is it gives me energy. I was dragging ass before I came into this conversation because I've been on a call since, well, pretty much all day, but I've been on a literal call since like 5 o'clock. Yeah, right. Well, I was with them all day actually. Yeah, he was home from school.
You were with them, but were you with them?
Oh, mentally, no, I was not. No, I was working side by side with him all day long. Matter of fact, sadly, I put him into his own little flow state, which is Mickey Mouse Funhouse, and he just goes,
yeah.
It's like disturbing. Like you literally be going right next to him and be like, Luca, and you're like, huh? What?
Yes. Like, that's exactly what a flow state is.
A kid watching Mickey Mouse is what it is, man. So that was fun as always. A question we could leave for everybody is what do you find when you're performing activities where you find flow? So, what are you discovering, when you're doing that stuff, right? For me, it was discovering my daughter. So I don't know if there's anything that you guys find. So something to think about. Thanks for joining, and we will see you tomorrow night for another fun episode. And we are only 10 away.
10 away. Wow.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we have
more.